See? Hang on.
What's this for, Bing?
Hang on.
Haan kita mo lang. Okay.
It's if you're looking here, it helps you to point the grid.
Grid na.
Huh?
Gusto mo kasi mo ako. Eto, baka maana.
No.
I-delete mo dumatay.
No.
Real na?
Yeah.
I-anon ko dito eh.
See?
Oh.
So you can do stuff like this. Rid of stuff like that easily.
As good as I've been in this car that we've been riding in. Eyes on the road, distracted. It's a two-way street where it's happening. This is as good as I've been in this car that we've been riding in. Eyes on the road, distracted. It's a two-way street. Ooh, 'cause you got everything. Hoping by the end of tonight that I could finally call you mine, call you all mine. Ooh, 'cause you got everything I like. Hoping by the end of tonight that I could finally call you mine, call you all mine.
Hello. So this is a song that I wrote about 11 years ago. Yes, you're the one. Thought I'd renew and refresh the acoustic version since we have taken the song and given it a whole new vibe for the 1279 project. The first part of which drops on 7/12/19, which is your birthday.
Yep.
And so, hello. And so, Savvy and I and Maverick on the other side of the camera will get our sing on for you. We'll sing the one.
After you're the one. Race car.
Race car after the one. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 7. Hey! Hey. Hey, Mav. The way you laugh with your mouth closed, the way you smile so your eyes glow, it's in the way you look at me so I can see just who I am inside. The way my heart doesn't listen, and so it just keeps wishing you were close to me so that it's beat to be synchronized with yours. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me now. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're my hero and my best friend. Girl, I swear you're a godsend. Lovely as a rain sun, the very first one, just as the day begins. So I got a round trip ticket, but I don't wanna take it. take half, give the other half to somebody who won't waste it now. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me now. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. Your hand in mine fit perfectly fine and sway below our waist at the perfect height. Faithful and true to him and to you I will stay. Ready to sing it by yourself? Forever this way, because
You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one,
you're the one for me now.
You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me now. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one for me.
She's my sunshine in the rain. She's my Tylenol when I'm in pain, yeah. Let me tell you what she means to me. Like a tall glass of lemonade when it's burning hot on summer days. She's exactly what I need. Said she's soothing like, whoa, oh, the ocean must know the sand. She takes care of me, baby, and she helps me be a better man. She's so beautiful. Oh, sometimes I stop to close my eyes. She's exactly what I need. Yeah, take a verse.
no, no. I know I'm young, but I know love. And I know an angel if I saw one. And I know very well, gentlemen don't kiss and tell. Promise I won't tell the world. If you say you want to be my girl in your own words. I'm just a simple man, simple plans. Go to work, take care of my fam. I'm sure you understand. Because you haven't independent. What do you think you need me? I think I need you, girl. Baby, can't you see that I know very well? Gentlemen don't kiss and tell. Promise I won't tell the world. If you say you want to be my girl in your own words. Cards on the table, willing so able, stable, capable of holding you down. I am just saying, I'm not complaining. Your love is worth waiting for. And I know very well, gentlemen don't kiss and tell. Promise I won't tell the world. If you say you want to be my girl.
Hi, my name is Sam Reeves, and I want to show you a solution to the circle around Photoshop. Okay, you just hooked up your Wacom pen tablet to your Windows machine, and you're ready to pen, only to discover that your pen cursor does this. Yay. Frustrated, you search the internet and find the thing about going into Wacom's Control app and unchecking the box that says Use Windows Ink. And you find out that it's either been already unchecked or it don't work. Nor does changing the registry entry for the hold mode from 1 to 3. And you can't even find the touch screen on the other side for you to change.
Hope that my life would be shared with somebody who cared for me. Well, you've always been the one. I know for sure I'm not the only one with the list that you're on. Wish I could tell you the things I know, like you're the one, but we can take things slow. Well, I've tried so many times I'm shy and it shows. Opportunity knocks, but I'm never home. Whoa, I'm falling so fast. Don't know how long I'm gonna last. You have always been my first choice, and you know my heart's been yours for so long. It knows right where it belongs with you. Belongs to you. Never been good at this dating game. You feel so strange, I'm always to blame. Well, I'm awkward, but I'm real, and I hope that she sees this charm in me with someone just like I'm full of facts that she might not know. Hope that's a plus, plus I'm always home, always answer your calls when you're bored and alone. I'm ahead of myself, need to slow my roll. Oh, I'm falling so fast. Don't know how long I'm gonna last. You have always been my first choice, and you know my heart's been yours for so long. It knows right where it belongs with you, belongs to you. Oh, I have tried to tell you what I mean to. If only you could read my mind. Thank you very much. He's always pulling away. I'm what you need. What you want so I'll take my time. See if love can be changed. Won't rush this fight. 'Cause I know that your heart's still in pain. Sure, he was good, but now he's gone for good. You deserve someone who'll stay. I'm what you need. Please just be brave and trust me. I'll
using your mind. Imagine my skin joined at the hip, joined from within. By using your eyes, freezing my brain. Watching our clothes burst into flames. By using your eyes, freezing my brain. Watching our clothes burst into flames. By using your eyes, freezing my brain. Watching our clothes burst into flames.
Though I try, it all feels the same. My dress, my head, my bed, my dreams, they sting. My baby, the way it moves, you can touch, but you can't love. This is all a dream, dream. Make it what it seems. Stop where you breathe. Tell me, could I break the fall? Just where you breathe. There's something about it, or nothing at all. Just where you breathe. Tell me, could I break the fall? Just where you breathe. Though I try, it all feels say sting. My baby, the way it moves, you can touch, but you can't look. I was opening up the book, can't find the pages of my mind. Who's to say you can't find a way out, a way down? It's a phase. We're all floating in a referee, can't you see? This is all a dream, dream. Make it what it seems now. Stop, wait, breathe. Could I break the fall? Just wait, breathe. There's something about it, or nothing at all. Stop, wait, breathe. Could I break the fall? Just wait, breathe. There's something about it, or nothing at all. Stop, wait, breathe. Could I break the fall? Just wait, breathe. The feeling light. Just wait, breathe. There's something about it, or nothing at all. Just wait, breathe. Though I try, it all feels the same. My dress, my bed, my head, my dreams, they stain. My baby, the way it moves, you can touch, but you can't look. Always opening up the book, can't find the pages.
愛の9。
Maserati dancing.
I feel with geniuses. They think I'm meaningless. I told them genius it. Off top, swear to God what my genius is. Don't believe me, you gon' start. It's the geniuses. Atwood, Spitfire, get charged. Leaves burn, money, weed, green glisten when he sparks heat. Ignition from the car keys. Listen to the heartbeats. Y'all think y'all compete with him? Hardly, ayy. I'm from the far east now. I'm from the Midwest now. I'm from down south, y'all. We always get head on. The type of guy won't speak his mind and then piece the bed. Go to Britain fried, hella high just to eat the chips. Can you believe this shit? Pull stick, spin heads, that's an English kid. Fans throw hands up like bulimics did. And I'm just sitting here reading lyrics on genius shit.
Voice all fucked up as shit. I can't get this drop. Cadillac, memories, you always bring the top down. Matter of fact, remember me? Fuck it, we can't stop now. Butterscotch and Hennessy, she double faded, crossed out. I'm busy burning MP3s, the CDs that get tossed out. And that's the feeling every morning I wake up. Doc prescribed me medicine, fellatio and K-cups. Spending all my money, keeping track of all my pay stubs. 10 toes down, but you know I keep my face up. Writing poems in a winter frozen empty car. Listening to wind and how the vocals glitch on NPR. If I can find the balance between all this, I know it get me far. From rock bottom promises to courtrooms, boy, that sentence hard. The young underdog, low-key running businesses. These fake haters, they shading, trying to be my nemesis. While blog writers hit me back like, boy, this lacking emphasis. Fuck them all, got books of lyrics, dog, it's just the genesis.
Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis is the best video game ever.
I disagree. It's a very good game, but I think Donkey Kong is the best game ever.
Donkey Kong sucks.
You know something? You suck.
Can you speak my feet?
What was that?
Speak my feet. Can you? Sir?
I'm not really into that.
No, why?
Sum it up, don't let it add up. Breathe it up, don't take it in. Do it all, just don't remember. Holy up, commit your sins. 'Cause you are scratched out with animal prints. You're so angry. Leave them all, you're just done despite all your wings. 'Cause you're freaky. Screaming out the crazy, crazy love. I'm feeling a bit hazy, hazy love. Stay shy. Oh, they'll drive you insane. Play the game. Baby, drive your own train. Don't you ever wanna wake up with your eyes remaining closed? 'Cause your thoughts look so much better than the world's ever composed. As you are scratched on me, screaming out the crazy, crazy love. I'm feeling a bit hazy, hazy love. Stay shy. Oh, they'll drive you insane. Play the game. Baby, drive your own train. Screaming out the crazy, crazy love. I'm feeling a bit hazy, hazy love. Stay shy. Oh, they'll drive you insane. Play the game. Baby, drive your own train.
Okay, mommy, what you be doing tonight? See, I just wanted to know if you're going alright. Please don't let that juice spill on the leather, it's pricey. Either way, girl, you're still wifey. You're 5'5", thick thighs, that big old ass, and I'm like brown eyes. You dance good, bounce right, sing to me to the pale moonlight. It's early in the morning, and I still got you moaning. Wake up because you ain't done this before. Looking at it now like I don't know. She said she can do it right. She said she can do it right. Girl, I wanna do you right. She said she can do it. She can do it. Okay, baby, take it slow, but maybe so much in my memory. I still miss you. Could we spend another summer together? Spend another weekend wherever. Wanted to take you to Kehlani and bounce to the back and party with alcohol in this cup. Hope it's you on my top. G-Shock in this watch, caption this Insta like it's old fashioned. It's old school, it ain't brand new. It's a long time, but it's still you. And there's some girls, they ain't gone, there's still a few. And there's some girls, they're still fine, but they ain't you. So let's sit Western sure up, it ain't far. Plus it's near your mom's. I can drop you home after we done fucking in my car. Okay, baby, take it slow, but maybe sexing like you crazy. Ain't no other lady you say can do all the things we've been through, up and out and into. Ain't no other. She said she can do it right. She said she can do it right. Girl, I wanna do you right. She said she can do it. She can do it.
Huh?
Got my fan.
Tell her to give it back. Mark says to give it back.
But she will not let me.
No, tell her that I said to give it back. Yeah. Okay, hang on, okay?
Are you very big?
That's not me.
No, you.
Wait, don't touch.
Why?
Because it's gonna mess the picture up.
What picture?
This picture.
What are you doing?
Okay, let's go. Get your fan back.
Don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for you. I'll get you up and going out of bed. And I promise that one day I'll feel fine. And I promise that one day I'll feel alright. And I'll make a cup of coffee with the right amount of sugar, how you like it. And I'll make a cup of coffee with the right amount of sugar, how you like it. How you like it. Don't know how long I'll stay for. It's okay, I'll knock on your door. Won't you come down and get me? I like it when you hold me tight. You make me feel nice. The green in your eyes makes me feel warm inside. And I'll make a cup of coffee with the right amount of sugar, how you like it. And I'll make a cup of coffee with the right amount of sugar, how you like it. How you like it.
See it, I want it, I gotta have it. I want it, I need it, that's what that plastic. Ooh, I'm living lavish.
Huh?
See, I buy everything, what I want.
No.
Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me.
Just don't let her take it away. Just don't let her take it away.
Plastic.
What do you? What?
Plastic. Stash your plastic on me. Boy, you nasty. Always included. And then always good. Caressing my body like no man ever could. I ain't got no ride, but I got that rhythm, mate. Can I get a ride? Comes to my fast lane. I overdraft, I sell clothes, I get cash, I bend that, bend that. Push your fucking hands up. See, I want it, I gotta have it. I want it, I need it, I spark that plastic, plastic, plastic. Ooh, I'm living lavish. Said I buy everything, but I probably everywhere I go, I'm smiling. And anything I want, I'm buying. I know my debt be multiplying. Yeah, I don't mind. For the first time, do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me.
I see it, I want it, oh babe, I got it. I don't think I just stored it inside my pocket. I just went to the store and dropped all my profit. I'ma still find a way I can end up shopping. These are chewy, baby, I don't buy no talking. I sell a new piece when I buy one on the market. I miss my rhyme, so could I please get your pardon? This is the life of a struggling artist. Yeah, ain't gonna lie, don't want no racks. Fuck up a check and get it right back. Too bad, but she wanna go smack. Boy, dreams for some Vambos and that's no cap. Use a track phone and dispose that. Let the money disappear, more magic. Go dark web without no plastic.
Everywhere I go, I'm smiling. And anything I want, I'm buying. I know my debt be multiplying. Yeah, I don't mind. For the first time, do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. 1,003, 1,003. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. Do you wanna get like me? Spend some things on me. 1,003, 1,003.
Hey. Smoking so I don't feel like I'ma die. Smoking so I don't feel like I'ma die. Focus on talking, don't focus on lying. Focus on talking, focus on life. I'm getting my piece of American pie. I'm getting my piece of American. I look at that girl and I stare in her eyes. I look at that girl and I stare in her eyes. Yeah. I can't tell you what your money feels. Hey, I've been stuck in thinking, please kill me. I just need much more weed, much more weed. Ooh, yeah. Hey, I can't tell you what them
Always silence my phone, I keep my sins on the low. I like to do it alone, but I'm lonely. I just be taking my time, only do it if it feels right. But I'm feeling like I go too slowly. I never seem to have a grasp on these things. You know I wanna believe, but I just can't see how. I wanna know just how far I can go. Every direction seems to stretch out to no end. No, I could wait for all my life and never feel the time was right. Might break or bend, but some things you have to pursue. I'll make it all come true. I'll make it all come true. I'll make it all come true.
I've been thinking about it for a while. Playing the game, but now you got me thinking I gotta redirect for you. But now you got me thinking too hard. Shanti, I'm digging deep, looking for the words I want you with me. Hey, would you like to grab drinks and stop by? You know where to find me. Thinking about how I've been off lately. I've been thinking maybe you and I can be alone together, baby.
Today I'm going to show you the amazing power of frequency separation retouching in Photoshop. Retouch, so it's get rid of like little wrinkles. After a couple of years ago, this was part of a bird series that I did, and we're just going to zoom in so you guys can kind of see what we're working with. All right, this is what we're working with. We've got skin texture in this image, so you can see all these little dimples and pores and things like that. And a lot of people, when they think of retouching, they think of, oh, I got to get rid of all this stuff. Well, that's actually not true. You don't want to get rid of your skin texture because that's what makes the images interesting and it makes them look a lot more realistic. So what we're going to do is try to work under that, like on the blotchiness and like the inconsistency with colors and highlights and shadows, things like that. And that's where frequency separation comes into play. So here's what we're doing. This is a really cool technique. Basically what you want to do is start on your background layer and create a couple different copies of this. So I'm going to hit Command J twice. All right, we've got this layer we're going to make invisible, and then this layer we're going to put a blur on it. So we're basically creating the base layer, and then this top layer is going to have our texture. So this base layer we're going to go ahead and put a blur. So I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. And here what you want to do is you want to give it just enough blur to actually get rid of whatever you wanting to keep. And in this case, that's like our little bits of skin texture. So like this is way too much of a blur because it's kind of just blurring everything. So what we want to do is just about go to the point where you can't see the skin texture. Right about there looks pretty good. And then that's where you're going to want to stop. So we're going to hit OK. So there's our blur. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this layer, we're going to go ahead and make that visible, and then I need to run a filter on it that basically takes the information what's on this layer and subtracts out the information from the other layer to leave us the difference. All right, so that's where we're going to create the texture layer. And to do that, we're going to go to Image, and then down here to Apply Image. Okay, so we've got Apply Image, and you guys have seen this used on Flurn before. When I'm like creating like highlights and stuff like that, and I want to blend them into the image, we're using Apply Image for that. But we're going to be using it for something a little bit different here. So usually these are the settings that I would suggest if you guys are trying to like blend in a highlight, something like that. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to change my layer here. We're going to go to Layer 0 Copy. So this is going to be this layer that has the blur applied to it, okay? So we're going to go to Layer 0 Copy. You could name your layers like blur and texture if you'd like to do that. I'm just going to keep it as just a couple copies. All right, so we've got Layer 0 Copy. Now here our blending, I want to select Subtract. All right, so there we can see we want to select Subtract. And the reason is because we want to take whatever's on this layer and subtract out whatever's on this layer. So we're left with just the difference, which is, again, the texture. Now, the other options here, scale is going to be 2 and offset is going to be 128. These are just mathematical terms figuring out how much of a difference it's actually going to take. And I didn't figure these out. These are just like someone else figured them out. And this is just the numbers that you use. So 2 and 128, it's going to be those same numbers every single time. All right, so if you're looking at this, you're going to think, let's hit OK. You're going to think this looks a lot like a high pass filter layer. And it basically is. This is pretty much exactly what a high pass filter layer is. But instead of having to choose your radius for you, it chooses the radius or it chooses the high pass filter based on the information on the underlying layer because it subtracts that out. So it's a perfect duplicate. Now, if I want to add the texture back, what we do is we change our blending mode. All right, so normal, we're going to change this down to linear light. Okay, so if you did this correctly, what we should have is you should have your background image. Okay, let's just zoom in here so you can see. We should have a blurred copy on top of that. And then we should have this layer, which adds the texture back. Now, if I go ahead and shift click, I'm going to group those two layers. If I make this invisible, we should actually see no change at all. And you're like, wow, how did that happen? Well, it happened because we took this layer and then a normal layer, and then we took the difference of them, and then we blended these back together using a linear light blend mode. So I know that was really complicated. And if you guys aren't super Photoshop dorks like I am, there are not a lot of people who are as big of a Photoshop dork as me, but anyway, that's probably all way too much. That's why we've created an action that does all of this for you. So this was how we create the frequency separation, and now I'm going to show you guys how we actually use frequency separation to retouch an image. And it's super, super simple. So again, if this was too complicated, download the action, hit play, and then follow along from right now. So here's how we actually use this to retouch skin. What we're going to do, we're going to start off in the underlying layer, and I'm just going to quickly point out kind of like what we're talking about here when I'm talking about blotchiness and things like that. Blotchiness is like, you know, a little bit like areas here. It's like a little bit darker here and it's lighter here and like blending wise and things like that. And we've got little red areas and stuff like that. That's not texture. That's differences in like color and light and dark, things like that. So that's what we're going to be taking care of. So here on our background, this layer right here, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight some of those areas, and we're just going to apply a little bit more of a blur to those areas. But the texture is going to remain because the texture is on a different layer. So here on my Layer 0 copy, or your background copy, whatever it's called, we're going to choose our lasso tool. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw a lasso selection there. I want a nice feathering on my edge, so I'm going to hit Q to bring up a quick mask. Now Q just gives you a brief visual preview of what your actual selection looks like. That doesn't have enough feathering. I want it to be a softer edge. So I'm going to bring my feathering up. Let's try right about 27. We'll make another selection and hit Q, And there we can see it's a little bit better. Let's try 32, and there we go. It's nice and soft at the edge because we are going to be doing a blur and I want it to blend in. So that's where the feathering comes into play. Okay, now you're going to see it's pretty easy. All we have to do is select an area that we want to like blend together. And in this case, it's pretty much going to be most of her face. All right, so we're selecting our area, hit Q, you can see it's got a nice feathered edge. All right, and then we're going to just add a blur. So I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and then down here to Gaussian Blur. And now my job is to choose a blur. We're going to go a little bit higher on this. We're going to choose a blur that starts to make all the little like areas in her skin, the blotchiness or whatever, start to disappear. So we can see as I bring this up, those blotchy areas disappear. The texture remains because it's on a different layer, but we're just blurring these areas and that's what allows the blotchiness to disappear. So we're going to hit OK there. All right, and we're going to keep going with it. So now I'm going to select an area like this. I generally like selecting relatively large areas, but not too large to where you're covering the entire face. Like areas I generally do together. Like this, I'm going to select basically that entire highlight, run a Gaussian blur, and then see what kind of detail I'd like on there. There we go. Let's select that area. Now I've set up a keyboard shortcut for my Gaussian blur. There we go. So it's really quick for me. I would suggest doing the same thing if you guys do any kind of action you're going to be running over and over again, or any kind of tool you're going to be using. You can set up your own keyboard shortcuts really quickly just by going to Edit and then down to Keyboard Shortcuts. All right, there we go. We're going to select that out as well. Give this a little bit of a blur. So you can see I'm basically just selecting areas of her skin that we want to blend together a little bit better. I'm staying away from her eyes and things like that. There we go. All right. Generally, we want to stay away from hair, but because we have texture on a different layer, even if we did include some of the hair in this, it's not a huge deal because the hair, because it's registered basically as like a texture, is going to stay intact as well. All right, there we go. And that looks pretty good. We'll just go ahead and get her arm while we're at it because I feel like it. Why not? Now I'm using a little bit more of a blur than I would probably generally use. The reason is I just wanted to show you guys what a difference this actually does make in an image. All right, let's get a couple more areas here, just where we're seeing a little bit of the blotchiness. There we go. All right, so with this, you would probably want to use a little bit less of a blur and kind of change the blur each and every time. All right. So now what we've done is we've taken those areas and we've blurred them together, which gives us a lot more of just a generally nice fluid image. All right, let's look at this before and after. So there's our before and the after. Really, really nice. And again, I kind of overdid it a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure on YouTube that you guys could see what we're doing. Usually you do a little less of a blur. But the great thing is because this layer contains our texture, right? This layer is the blur layer, and this layer contains the texture. So even though we've gone and we've completely smoothed out the skin, although the skin texture remains. Down here you can see it. Up here on the forehead you can see it as well. All the skin texture remains. Now let's say there are some other areas that you want to say, like, I want to take care of the texture in this area. I'm going to show you guys how to take care of just the texture because it's on a completely separate layer. So to take care of the texture, what we want to do now, we're going to select our texture layer, and you'll see what it is because it's just a gray layer, and if you turn it off or on, it'll show you exactly that that's the texture layer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the clone stamp tool on this layer, because if I change this layer back to a normal blending mode, this is what the layer actually looks like. It's just mostly gray with some flecks of light and dark on it. So if I change this back to linear light, what we're going to do is we can edit using the clone stamp tool on this layer, but there's one thing that I want you to make sure you do, and that's go up here and select here current layer. Okay, this is not a time to use current layer or all layer, sorry, not a time for current and below or all layers. You have to use current layer here because you want to sample other textures from the layer you're on and replace them with these textures. Okay, so I'll show you. Like this little dimple there, that guy right there, let's just sample from right here, and I'm going to paint right over top of it. All right, we're going to do this a couple more times because what we're doing is we're sampling different areas of texture and applying them over top. So again, this is completely different from all the color and the tone and everything like that on this image. So you don't have to worry about selecting, like I could sample over here and paint over here. You can see it's just copying the texture. I don't have to worry at all about color because this layer only contains texture. So it's a really great way to just go in and clean up a couple textures. There we go, that's a texture, bank, done. And not have to worry at all about affecting all your colors or your highlights, your shadows, or anything like that, because they're on completely separate layers. And that is the beauty of frequency separation. All right, there we go. Really, really cool image. So there's our before and our after. And as you can see, all the skin detail remains, and we have a nice, clean image. And if you think you can, well, maybe let's see. I want a little bit of the underlying layer, because I did say that I overdid this a little bit. Let's just lower our opacity just a little bit of this entire group.
Cleaning
and
his
there we can
face.
see a little bit of the underlying layer comes through. That's gonna make it look a little bit more realistic. All right, really, really cool. So there you go, guys, the cool power of frequency separation retouching here on Flurn.com. If you like this episode, be sure to A, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and B, download that action on Flurn.com. So you guys don't have to go through all the beginning steps. You can just pick up right there and just select some areas, hit blur, and that's retouching for you. Be sure to comment down below if you have any ideas for things you'd like to watch on Flurn, as well as share this with your friends and your family, because learning is fun and sharing is caring. That was dumb. Anyway, I'll Flurn you guys later. Bye, everyone. Welcome, it's Flurn. Hey, I know Flurn. You're the one who teaches the Photoshop. I know you. I see you on TV, on my computer screen. Hello. Whew.
I think as computer enthusiasts,
Isabel, no. Don't write on that.
Okay. That's not again.
Just don't write on it because it doesn't use pencils. Okay?
Only this?
Yeah.
What's this?
It's special.
But not special than mine.
Yeah, see, it's not a real pencil.
Ow,
See?
ow, 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 ow.
See, it's not a real pencil.
It hurts. Ow,
Yeah.
why did you do that?
I don't know.
Hey, what was those two? Hey, what was that?
That's what he looked like before. This is what he looks like now.
Hey, who's that?
My best friend.
So, why he is in your computer?
Mm.
Did you take a picture of him?
No, I think he jumped in my computer.
Why he jumped in your computer?
I don't know.
Maybe he wants to be in your computer. You can see him?
Yeah.
Wait, I can see all of your friends. What is those two doing?
Hmm? They're walking.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Wait, what was that? What are they seeing?
I don't know.
Oh.
Teacher, I know, but it's just...
Big fan, Chad. Big fan of Cash
Oh,
Money.
this is what the games are for. Let's again.
Seraph? I don't see why not. If that makes Seraph. Seraph. And then I make a Shojin. It's still 2 auto attacks, right? Because he's not going to gain 30 mana. Hello. Yeah, my team is a little duty right now. I'm hoping to get...
Sup, daddy?
I'm not your daddy. I'm hoping to get some upgrades. It's kind of awkward Dude, it's Mr. Double Tier 2 again. Alright. Blue card. Wait, I don't have any people who use mana. And they all just left my TF. Alright, red card on a solo target. Okay. These are very good. Okay. How about yellow card? One yellow card. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Now. Alright, good. Now give her a yellow card. Oh, you know what? Blue card. Okay. Yes! Item. Money. $3. Thank God. Okay, we're chilling. Now, is this a demon game, though? This gives me Blade Master for now. And did they fix Ludens yet? So much questions, Jen. So much questions. So little time. It's alright. We're still making money. Still making money. That's the important thing. Go for the demon? No, chat. We swore off the life of being demonic. Okay, we're on the straight and narrow. Level 2 Graves, level 2 TF, level 2 Pike. Makes me look at my team with such disdain. Nice job, Shen. Good Kage no Bunshi no Jutsu. Okay, if you guys could just start focusing the same target. Great.
9 months of giving you money feels good, man.
Okay, that was a little sad. We got a bow.
20 months is promised.
Oh, thank you for the resub, guys. Lost to rocks doesn't feel very good.
Enjoying your stream. Here is some money. First time I donate to someone, you deserve it.
Thank you very much for your monies. I'm a big fan of monies. Oh god, guys, it's not looking so good. I'm kind of panicking, and when I panic, I just want to go back to going for demons. Oh no, my TF just showed up and kind of died, huh? Wow, he got $4 from that. What did I get? $1. Definitely has an advantage. I'll give him that. Maybe this isn't the gunslinger game as much as I want it to be. Maybe it's a demon game. No, Toast, you must fight it. Fight the urge to be a demon player. You can't, chat. You know, some of us are born to play demons. Okay, blue card deals no damage. Dirty old boot. Okay. It's hard to go pirates right now because this guy bought out all the pirates. He's 1 TF away from level 3 TF.
Today I'm going to show you how to create an awesome
guy's going
bokeh style
gunslinger.
effect on your photos
Wait, this
in
guy's going
Photoshop.
gunslinger. Wait, this guy's going gunslinger.
Hey guys, welcome to Flurn. My name is Aaron Nace. I'm the founder of
pivot,
Flurn,
pivot,
and you can
pivot,
find me on
pivot,
flurn.com where we make learning fun. And today I'm going to show you a really great technique on a super out of focus. That's a shallow depth of field. So when you have a shallow depth of field and you put a bunch of lights either in your background or really close to the lens, those lights go out of focus and they create those beautiful bubbles of light called bokeh. So this effect looks really cool and it's really easy to do in camera. Now, if you don't have the options to go take your own pictures, not a big deal. You can do the same thing in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, you can simply take an existing photo of bokeh lights and then add it to your own photo. It's really easy to do. Basically, you change the blending mode from normal to screen, which is gonna make the blacks invisible, making just the bokeh lights there, and place it over top of your image. You can even change the colors. Make sure you use a hue saturation adjustment layer, convert it to a smart object, change those colors, and you're good to go. So in this episode, we're gonna show you 2 different examples of basically doing exactly that. We're gonna show you how to create all kinds of different bokeh effects, and you can download these images on flurn.com. Just follow the link in the description right down below. All right, guys, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's jump into Photoshop. Guys, is it Photoshop time? All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull this thing together in Photoshop. So we actually got a couple examples for you today. We're gonna be doing both of these images. Now, all these images you can actually download on flurn.com. Just follow the link on your screen right now. You can follow along with this. This is super easy. So you'll be able to get all 3 of these images. So the first thing that we have a bokeh photo. Now you can search through stock image websites, just type in bokeh and you're gonna find photos like this, or you can simply take your own. You just need to shoot with a shallow depth of field and basically just shoot lights out of focus. That's how to get this look. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab my move tool and I'm gonna hold shift and click and drag from one image to another one. There we go. And now we have our bokeh on a new layer. Now the real key to doing this, and this is so incredibly easy, the real key here is to use your blending modes in Photoshop. Now in this case, our background is really dark. It's pretty much black. So we want to get rid of that and just have the lights showing. So we're going to change our blending mode to screen. It's going to remove the background and just have the lights showing. So let's go up here from normal. We're going to go down to screen. Boom. And you can see we have bokeh in our image, which is incredibly cool. Now you can move it around here. You can see in this case, the bokeh is a little bit larger than our image. Let's go ahead and move in there. So of course, if you want to, you can simply hit Control or Command T at any time, and you can shrink this down. You can make it larger and smaller. Now in this case, for this exact example, what I want to do, just because I'm in the mood for bokeh, what I want to do is add a few different versions of this. So we have our new layer here. We're going to click and drag this down to the new layer icon. It's going to duplicate that. And then you can see here she's got like a necklace with these little fairy lights on there. We're going to kind of play up that bokeh as well. So let's hit Control or Command T. We're going to shrink this down nice and small there. Okay, and then we're just going to add more bokeh right around her like fairy lights, where she's got these kind of like lights right around her neck there. Now I'll make it a little bit larger so it kind of matches up with the lights. All right, there we go. And let's hit enter. Now, if you're in a situation like this, obviously we need to use a layer mask to make sure that these edges don't show up like that. So let's click on our layer mask icon. You just want to paint black with your brush tool where you don't want this to show up. So let's just go ahead and paint black. Now the key when you're doing this here, okay, you don't want this bokeh to look half visible, half invisible. Like you wouldn't, for instance, want to like paint it away like that, okay? That's not gonna look realistic. So you wanna make sure it's either there or not there, okay? So what we're doing is I'm just gonna kind of paint away the background just a little bit, kind of light here. Yeah, we'll paint away those. That doesn't make a lot of sense to have those guys there. And I wanna be sure that everywhere I have my bokeh, it is fully visible, fully intact. Cool. Now you can move it around here. You can see in this case the bokeh is a little bit larger than our image. Let's go ahead and move in there. So of course, if you want to, you can simply hit Control or Command T at any time, and you can shrink this down. You can make it larger and smaller. Now in this case, for this exact example, what I want to do, just because I'm in the mood for bokeh, what I want to do is add a few different versions of this. So we have our new layer here. We're going to click and drag this down to the new layer icon. It's going to duplicate that. And then you can see here she's got like a necklace with these little fairy lights on there. We're going to kind of play up that bokeh as well. So let's hit Controller Command T. We're going to shrink this down nice and small there. Okay, and then we're just going to add more bokeh right around her like fairy lights, where she's got these kind of like lights right around her her neck there. Now I'll make it a little bit larger so it kind of matches up with the lights. All right, there we go. And let's hit enter. Now, if you're in a situation like this, obviously we need to use a layer mask to make sure that these edges don't show up like that. So let's click on our layer mask icon. You just want to paint black with your brush tool where you don't want this to show up. So let's just go ahead and paint black. Now the key when you're doing this here, okay, you don't want this bokeh to look half visible, half invisible. Like you wouldn't, for instance, want to like paint it away like that, okay? That's not gonna look realistic. So you wanna make sure it's either there or not there, okay? So what we're doing is I'm just gonna kind of paint away the background just a little bit, kind of light here. Yeah, we'll paint away those. That doesn't make a lot of sense to have those guys there. And I wanna be sure that everywhere I have my bokeh, it is fully visible, fully intact. So it's either gonna be not visible or visible. And you can use a hard edge brush if you wanna do that. There we go. And let's just go in here and we're just gonna make this a little bit more visible here. All right. There we go. And we'll just paint that gone. So we can see we got our effect pretty much looking good here. The only thing is this is like a little bit lighter right here than I would like. I'm just gonna kind of add, I'm gonna play that up in this case just a little bit. Let's create a new layer and I'm gonna grab this like lighter blue color and we're just gonna use a large brush and I'm gonna kind of like add some of this just on top of there and it'll look a little bit like a light flare, okay? There we go. Just with a brush tool, and I'm gonna change my layer blend mode from normal down to lighten. Now you don't have to do that, that's just kind of like blended everything together and it looks like another light flare. So let's go ahead and turn those layers off. Here's our before and there's the after. You can see that was really incredibly easy to do. Now, if we really wanna throw this for a loop, what we're gonna do is add a little bit of color effects to the photograph, and that's gonna give it that we're gonna put some like nice cool cyans in the shadows and some warm colors in the highlights, and that's really gonna tie this effect together. Okay, so you can color a lot of different ways in Photoshop. The way we're gonna do now is using a gradient map. So let's go to our layer. We're gonna go down to new adjustment layer, and I'm gonna go to a gradient map. If you've never seen this before, gradient maps are super cool. Basically, you can choose a gradient here. You can choose your dark colors and your light colors. So we'll say our dark colors, we want it to be like this dark cyan. There we go. And our light color, let's click here, and we're just gonna choose, this is gonna be like a nice bright, like yellowish orange there. There we go. And that looks pretty good there. So we can see it's basically coloring the image. And now this is set to a normal blending mode, but you can simply lower your opacity if you want. You can change your blending mode to this as well. So let's try, we're gonna go down to soft light. There we go. And that's, you can see it's just gonna give it that like really nice, cool color effect. And it's going to, we can increase or decrease our opacity. It's gonna both color the image and add some light effects at the same time. Now, another way you can use to color is go to layer and down a new adjustment layer and over here to a color balance adjustment layer. Hit OK. And here I'm going to pull my midtones towards blue and towards cyan a little bit more. And we're going to go to our highlights and I'm just going to pull those towards yellow and towards red a little bit. Give me that orange type effect. All right, there we go. And we'll just lower the opacity of that a little bit. So here we have it, guys. Super easy to do. So here's our image before, here's our lighting effects, and then here's a little bit of coloring on that as well. It's a little bit strong, so I'm gonna just lower these effects. All right, so you can see it's incredibly easy to do this awesome bokeh effect. Now, this is only one image. We got another image for you, and for this, we're gonna change the colors of the bokeh. All right, so we can see this is our image that we just made. Now here we've got another photo. This is super cool because we got blue on one side and we got the magenta on the other side. And we're gonna use this exact same bokeh image and we're actually going to be changing the color. Super easy, very fun. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna hit my move tool here. Let's click and drag from one image to another. There we go. And here we can see we need to change this from normal down to screen. Okay, that's our blend mode here. Hit F for full screen, and I'm just gonna flip this upside down. So Controller Command T, right click and go flip vertical. That's just gonna flip that right upside down for me. Now in this case, I'm gonna make a couple copies of this because I want this side of it to be bluish and that side of it to be magenta. It's gonna be really cool. So the first thing that I wanna do is I'm gonna right click here and I'm gonna turn this into a smart object. There we go. So now as a smart object, I can use smart filters. So let's go to image. I'm gonna go down to adjustments and we're gonna go to hue saturation. There we go. And check this out. I'm adjusting the hue of this layer of just the bokeh, right? I'm adjusting the hue of the bokeh, which is really cool. I'm gonna focus on the left side first. I wanna match this like blue in the background and let's hit okay. Now check this out. Because I turned this into a smart object first, I basically was able to use a smart filter. So I can turn this hue saturation on or off at any time and I can change it and it only affects this layer. So really, really cool. Now let's go ahead and pop a layer mask on there and I'm gonna paint black on my layer mask. Again, we want it to completely disappear from this side, right? There we go, and we can kind of define where it's visible. That's pretty cool. Now, let's click and drag this to duplicate it. So we're gonna have another copy of it. And you know what? I'm gonna just click on our layer mask. We're gonna go to edit, down to fill, and we're gonna fill our layer mask with white. It's gonna make it all visible. Looks really great, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is layer mask out the other side. So I'm gonna make the other side invisible. All right, and the reason we're doing this is because we got two different colors of bokeh here that we're gonna be working with, okay? So we have our left side that we did blue. Now our right side, we want it to be magenta to kind of match what's going on here. So again, let's just click on this same hue saturation. See, it just duplicated that with all the filters, which is so fun. Double click here on the hue saturation, and then you can just simply slide this to the right. Okay, so you can change the color super easy. Now, if you want to completely color it, you can see this is coloring our bokeh because it has a lot of saturation, but we have this light area here that's not really being colored. If you want to color everything, click on that colorize button, and then you can color everything. It's all going to be the same color, okay? There we go, let's find our right, yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good, and you can even change your saturation and things like that. So let's hit okay there, and then I'm gonna just paint with my layer mask here. There we go, kind of paint this in. Oh man, that looks so cool. So here we have our magenta and our blue on different sides. So it's the same image, basically I've just changed the color. Now I'm gonna put some white bokeh right here in the middle, so let's just click and drag that. I'm gonna duplicate that once more. Okay, on my layer mask, we're just gonna fill that with white. There we go. And let's make this small, and then this is gonna be like she's got a little bit of bokeh in her hand. You're just holding on to your bokeh. Let's double click on this hue saturation, okay? And I'm just gonna simply lower my saturation because it's kind of white right there, right? And we'll click on our layer mask, and I'm just gonna paint black on my layer mask right around here. So this is only gonna show up like right over top of her hand. And just have fun with this. You know, these bokeh effects, these are for fun. So now change hue saturation. See, it just duplicated that with all the filters, which is so fun. Double click here on the hue saturation, and then you can just simply slide this to the right. Okay, so you can change the color super easy. Now, if you want to completely color it, you can see this is coloring our bokeh because it has a lot of saturation, but we have this light area here that's not really being colored. If you want to color everything, click on that colorize button, and then you can color everything. It's all going to be the same color, okay? There we go, let's find our right, yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good, and you can even change your saturation and things like that. So let's hit okay there, and then I'm gonna just paint with my layer mask here. There we go, kind of paint this in. Oh man, that looks so cool. So here we have our magenta and our blue on different sides. So it's the same image, basically I've just changed the color. Now I'm gonna put some white bokeh right here in the middle, so let's just click and drag that. I'm gonna duplicate that once more. Okay, on my layer mask, we're just gonna fill that with white. There we go. And let's make this small, and then this is gonna be like she's got a little bit of bokeh in her hand. You're just holding on to your bokeh. Let's double click on this hue saturation, okay? And I'm just gonna simply lower my saturation because it's kind of white right there, right? And we'll click on our layer mask, and I'm just gonna paint black on my layer mask right around here. So this is only gonna show up like right over top of her hand. And just have fun with this. You know, these bokeh effects, these are for fun. Adding all these fun effects to your photos. This is, you know, play around with it. You can even do your own photography. You don't have to use stock images. All right, there we go. So we got 3 different bokeh effects. You can see here's our first one is for the blue on that side. Our second one is that magenta, and we colorized this one. And then our third is just that little bit right over there. We got our stunning bokeh effects. Here at the end, I'm just gonna throw another color balance. This is just gonna add some fun color to it. We'll just pop some blue and cyan into the midtones, and the highlight, let's push those towards yellow and a little bit towards red. And here we go. We got everything colored together, and we really got our fun bokeh effect photo. Okay guys, you can see that's all there is to creating these stunning bokeh effects in Photoshop. Now you can download these images on Phlearn.com. Just follow the link on your screen right now. You can do all your practicing, and you can pick up great places to pick up that 85mm 1.4 or the 50mm 1.4 lens that are gonna allow you to actually photograph this awesome bokeh effect. Have fun with your bokeh. Until next time, I'll Phlearn you later. Bye everyone. Koa, you want to create some bokeh together? Today I'm going to show you how to remove anything from a photo in Photoshop. Hey guys, and welcome to Phlearn. My name is Aaron Nace, and you can find me on Phlearn.com, where we make learning Photoshop and photography fun. And we got a cool episode for you today. It's total Photoshop, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna take something, a huge part of this image actually, and we're gonna completely remove it from the background. Now you might be saying, why would you wanna do that? Well, oftentimes you guys are gonna be taking images and everything's great. Like your subject looks great, the lighting's great and everything. There's gonna be someone in the background picking their nose, or like a kid with his pants pulled down, or there's just gonna be something in the background that ruins your photo. In this case, there's a giant trash can right beside our subject. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys some awesome techniques on removing these objects from your background, even when they take up a large portion of your image. It's an awesome episode. We're getting into it right now. So here's our image for today. This was taken by Desmond Young, and it was actually submitted into one of our contests. It's an awesome image. We've got a subject here. She looks great, perfect expression on her face. The lighting is really nice. I like the background. I don't mind the truck, but we've got a giant trash can right next to our subject, and it's totally taking away from our subject. It's like, well, I'd like it if that trash can wasn't there. But sometimes you can't move a trash can, or sometimes you notice these things after the photos have already been taken. So that's what we're gonna do in Photoshop. I'm gonna show you guys today how to remove this. So what we're basically doing today, I wanna show you guys, we're gonna take all of this trash can, we're gonna completely remove this trash can. All this is going to go away. And while we're at it, I'm gonna remove this light post as well, this over here, and then this little silver plaque I think was part of the light post here. They're just connecting behind the other post. So all those things are going to go away. Now to do this, we're gonna have to use some of our selection tools. We're gonna have to use like clone stamping tools. I'm gonna show you guys some really cool things you can do as well with the brush tool. So the first thing we need to do when we're gonna get rid of this trash can, let's just zoom in. We can see the trash can, it's kind of like it's behind some things, right? It's behind this concrete block, it's behind the lamppost. So I need to create a nice selection that will actually not interfere with this area and this area. So selections are a huge part of removing things from the background. And in this case, because I know we're gonna have to create some straight edges here, we're gonna come down over here, and then I've got some curved edges here as well, and I need this to be super accurate. I'm gonna use the pen tool. So I'm gonna hit P for the pen tool, and we're gonna go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and create a new layer here. Now, if you guys have any questions about using the pen tool, or any of this looks too difficult, check out our pro tutorial, The Beginner's Guide to Compositing. It goes through all this stuff in a lot of detail, and you guys are gonna learn a whole lot about this type of compositing as well as a lot more. All right, let's go ahead and start here. I'm gonna just start by clicking in right here, and notice when I click in, I'm trying to stay right on the boundary of the piece of concrete here. I'm not gonna go up like this. I'm gonna come right down there. There we go. And now
running inside my head, but they I choose your way, I may lose my faith, I may be too late, no more time to waste. I may break or bend, but some things you have to pursue. I'll make it all come true.
Huh? Yeah, are you gonna turn it off?
I'll make it all come true.
Oh.
I'll make it all come true. I fall apart, I lose myself, I take some time, it can't be helped. I hold my own all by myself, I keep my pride and nothing else. I fall apart, I lose myself, I take some time, it can't be helped. I hold my own all by myself, I keep my pride and nothing else. I'll make it all come true. 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 I'll make it all come true.
I know you see me on the video. I know you heard me on the radio. But you still don't pay me no attention. Listening to what your girlfriends mention. He's a slut, he's a hoe, he's a freak. Got a different girl every day of the week. It's cool, not trying to put a rush on you. I had to let you know that I got a crush on you.
Hey yo, shorty, won't you go get a bag of the leaf? I'll be undressed in the bra all see-through. While you count your jewels, thinking I'ma cheat you. The only one thing I wanna do is freak you. Keep it stone set, I got my own baguettes. And I'll be doing things that you won't regret. Little Kim the queen bee, so you best take heed. Shall I proceed? Yes indeed. I'ma throw shade if I can't get paid. Throw you up to your girl like the army grenade. You can slide on my ice like the escapade. And then G with the marmalade. Me, not you. Oh yes, who's he? I even dig your man's style, but I love your profile. Whisper in your ear, get you all shook up, but don't blush. Just keep this on the hush.
I know you see me on the video. I know you heard me on the radio. But you still don't pay me no attention. Listening to what your girlfriends mention. He's a slut, he's a hoe, he's a freak. Got a different girl every day of the week. It's cool, not trying to put a rush on you. I had to let you know that I got a crush on you.
Why you trying to kiss Sea Breeze? I'm in the PVs, all chrome Z3s, decked out TVs, CDs with crazy bass. Keep my lady lace. Don't be fooled by the baby face. I hope you're not, cause your thighs got me hot. Only one plan, that's to rise to the top. I told you before when I first pursued, I want an interlude in the nude.
You know I love the way you fill up. Sip my tequila, murk from the dealer, full lip chinchilla. Heat up the clutch, 750 deluxe. And we speed down the hutch, breaking trees in the Dutch. I'm not the one you sleep with to eat quick. Want a cheap chick? Better go down a freak nick. You got to hit me off. Buy this girl gifts, of course. So I look slick in my six with my Christian lacrosse.
Hate it's beautiful how a single drop can be so hard. Hate it's strange, you know, when you feel alone even if you're not. I can see your place in the fort. I don't wanna shiver, let me in. Please don't leave me in the cold. When I am so afraid, so afraid, I will do whatever they say, they say. So just take me out of the cold. When I
To the beats, my album out of all the albums is like mine's is more like soulless. You know what I mean? You know, cause you got the Force, you got Delphonics. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got the Teddy Pendergrass hook inside Cam. It's like it's more soulless inside of it. You know what I mean? That's my feel, my ear right there. Those are the beats I chose because that's me right there.
Want to see something? Who's this? Hold on. Do you recognize him now? Oh! Okay. Let's go.
The swimming bird will meet a woman. The bird will be hunted by this woman. And then death.
One more time. What's that? I was killed once before. By a woman.
You take women too lightly, my friend.
On the contrary.
Mr. Gravity? Seriously?
Oh, Grace, oh, Grace. Every time you come around, I feel okay. You help me see color in the world of gray. Girl, you make me feel some type of way. Ooh, oh, Grace, oh, Grace. Make me feel some type of way. Oh, Grace, oh, Grace. Make me feel some
Whatever I can do for you, whatever I could be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I can be for you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I could be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I could be for you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I could be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I could be for you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I could be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I could be for you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I can be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I can be with you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I can be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I can be for you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I can be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I can be for you, I will. Whatever I can do for you, whatever I can be with you, whatever I would do for you, whatever I can be for you, I will.
I take it back cause I'm better talking. You can try but I know I'm awkward. What to do with my hands when I'm walking. I'm falling, I'm falling. And even though you break the ice, I can't even look you in the eyes. My confidence is lacking. I'm falling, I'm falling. I'm awkward and shy and I try, but it never comes out right. My sentences suck so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy and I try, but it never comes out right. My sentences suck so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm trying my best with the words, but I can't get the syllables out at all. Every noun, every verb, and my tongue is just tripping. I can't seem to take the fall. And I know that you're patient with all the time that I'm wasting, I can't recall what you were saying. The topic is hazy, my brain is gone. Take it back, cause I'm not talking. And you can try, but I know I'm lonely. What I do when I end up walking and falling. Even though you're right for the answer, can't even look you in the eye. My confidence is lacking. I'm falling. I'm awkward and shy, and I try, but it never comes out right. My sentences suck, so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy, and I try, but it never comes out right. My sentences suck, so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy, and the thoughts in my mind weigh me down, but I love and smile. My sentences suck, so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy, and I try, but it never comes out right. My sentences suck, so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. You know that I try, and I try, and I try. I'm awkward and shy. I try, and I try, and I try, and I try to pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy. I try, and I try, and I try, and I try to pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy, the thoughts in my mind weigh me down, but I love and smile. My sentences suck, so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. I'm awkward and shy, and I try, but it never comes out right. My sentences suck, so I pull out a joke, but it's wrong place, wrong time. You know that I try, and I try, and I try.
Oh my god! Oh, that is so fucking strong! I know, I feel spill. Oh my god. I'm gonna sit down.
pulling my hair out. Good thing I know how to put it back in Photoshop. Today I'm gonna show you how to fill in your eyebrows in Photoshop. How fun is that? Hey guys, and welcome to Flurn. My name is Aaron Nace, and you can find me on flurn.com, where we make learning fun. And we're kind of hitching on to a current beauty trend right now. It's super fun to have big filled in eyebrows. So we're gonna show you how to fill in your eyebrows in Photoshop. So basically we got two parts to this tutorial. The first part is creating the shape of your eyebrow, and we're gonna show you how to fill it in with a little bit of a darker color that's gonna give you your base. We'll show you a cool thing you can do to blur the edges to make it look super realistic. Then it's time to paint in the individual hairs. And we got some really cool brush options here. So whether you guys are using a pressure sensitive tablet or a mouse or a trackpad, whatever it is, you're gonna be able to create realistic hair with whatever tools you have. This really just takes a couple of minutes to do, and it makes a huge difference on your portraits. Let's go ahead and jump into Photoshop. All right, let's fill in these eyebrows. Now, before we get started, I gotta say this, if you're this model, I apologize because you had beautiful eyebrows before we started this. I actually thinned them out in Photoshop. Apologies, you're a beautiful person, you've got great eyebrows. We're gonna show you how to refill them back in Photoshop. So the first thing we're gonna do is create like a little outline of the eyebrows and fill it in with like a little bit of a darker color, kind of like you would do with makeup. And then we're actually gonna draw in some new eyebrows. It's gonna be really cool. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Now I'm gonna click on my pen tool. So let's hit P for the pen tool. And basically this is just gonna allow us to create a shape right around the eyebrow. And I love the pen tool because you can create your shape and then you can change it at any time. So let's go ahead and start right about here at the end of the eyebrow. Okay, we're gonna click here and kind of drag out in this direction. Just gonna give us that nice arch there. And I'm gonna kind of come out here and then just click a couple times, not even worried about creating like curves here. All right, we're gonna come up in this direction here. There we go, and just click here at the end. So the great thing again about the pen tool is if you wanna change any of these, you can. So hold the control or the command key and just click on any one of these little points and you can kind of move them around. So if you wanna like change the shape of the eyebrow, that's totally cool. Now, my other suggestion here is just go like a little bit bigger than you think you need for the eyebrow because you can always mask it away. Okay, so that looks like a pretty good eyebrow selection. And again, this is gonna be for our, like the fill of the eyebrow. So now that we have that selection, just right click right in there and go to make selection. And I recommend feathering this by about 1 pixel. So let's hit okay there. So you can see we basically just have a selection. So I'm gonna create a new layer and we're gonna use the brush tool. Now, my suggestion here, just use like a really big soft edge brush. Okay, so you can see if I right click here, my size is at 107, my hardness is at 0, and you can download the same image on flurn.com so you guys can practice if you want to. Just follow the link right down below. So we're using a really large soft edge brush here. And now notice we're also on a new layer here. Okay, so with my brush tool, I'm gonna hold Alt or Option, and I'm gonna just sample this like brown color that's already in the eyebrow. Now, if a person doesn't have any eyebrows or there's really not much to sample, you can just sample the color from their hair on their head too. That's totally okay. So we're gonna just pick this color. Now, before I get started here, we're gonna change our blend mode of this layer from normal. We're gonna go down to multiply. And that's just kind of gonna darken things down. So again, we've got our selection looking really good. We got a big soft edge brush. We're gonna paint with brown and we're on multiply. So there's only 2 more things that we need to keep in mind. The next thing we wanna do is we wanna make sure we can build up this effect pretty slowly. We don't wanna just like put a whole bunch of eyebrow color on there at one time. We wanna kind of build it up and make sure it's really natural. So anytime you wanna build up an effect and make it natural, use a low flow on your brush and that'll help you build that effect up. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's change our flow right here. This is our brush. We're gonna change our flow down to about 20%. So you can just type over here, you can type in 20, you can hit Shift 2, you can click here, and you can change your flow. Okay, so any of those ways is gonna work. Okay, now let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and I'm just gonna hide my selection, because right now I got all these little dots here, and it's just a little bit annoying. I can't see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna hit Control or Command H, and that's gonna hide that selection. Now, the selection's still active, I just can't see it. And if this is your first time doing Control or Command H, it's gonna ask you if you wanna hide Photoshop or hide the extras. Just click Hide Extras. Okay, so my selection's hidden now. I can't see it, but I can see what I'm doing on. So the selection is active. So I've got my big brush, and I'm just gonna start painting in here just a little bit. And remember, we're using a low flow here, right? Really low flow. So that means we're gonna build up our effects. So just kind of like draw in like little circles around here. You know, focus more around the center and the arch of the eyebrow, and kind of like fade it out towards the edges, okay? There we go. All right, so we want this to be a relatively, there we go, relatively nice fade from one side to the other. Okay, and that's looking pretty good there. Now, let's just make this invisible again. Okay, so you can see what we kind of got there. Now, we're gonna zoom in here, and you'll notice that here in the center of the eyebrow, this looks pretty good, right? It's like nice and well defined, and we got a pretty clear line there. That's pretty cool. But here, it starts to look pretty bad. So what we're gonna do, let's go ahead and deselect. You can hit Control or Command D to deselect. And then, look, we're on this same layer. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our blur tool, okay? So we're just gonna blur what's going on here. So make sure you uncheck sample all layers, because we're just gonna blur this, okay? And then go ahead and bring your strength all the way up to 100. And we'll make our brush a little bit larger. So we're just gonna blur what's going on here. So with our blur tool, there we go, just kind of painting in here, and that's just gonna blur that, and you can see what a nice job. Let's go blur it up there and over there a little bit more. Cool. So I'm gonna hit Control or Command Z. So there's the before and the after. Just kind of blurs it in. So you still got your effects, still looks really good and everything like that. It's just blurred a little bit more. Okay, well, that's pretty much halfway done. So what we did is we created that shape. Now, the next thing we need to do is fill it in with the little eyebrow hairs to make it actually look realistic. And there's really two ways you can do this. I use a pressure-sensitive tablet. This is a Wacom Intuos small tablet. I love it. You can find more information right down below in the description. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. If you got one of these, great. It allows you to be pressure sensitive, it's really great for like drawing little hairs. If not, I'm gonna show you how to do it with a mouse or a trackpad as well. So whatever you got, you can totally do this. Basically, you're gonna be drawing a few little hairs. So we're gonna start off, we're gonna show you how to do it with a mouse, because I'm guessing most of you guys have a mouse or a trackpad. So to start off, let's go ahead and create a new layer. Hit B for the brush tool. Again, we're gonna sample this dark color, and on this layer, we're gonna change this to a multiply as well. So that's gonna be our dark hair. Now, we wanna go ahead and make our brush small, about the size of a hair here. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So you wanna make it about the size of a hair, and you can do some tests on your image if you wanna just like draw a little bit, like does that look like a hair? That actually does look pretty good. And I'm gonna right click and bring our hardness up to about 70% as well. So in this case, if you're gonna follow along with this same image, my brush size is set to 3 and my hardness is set to 70. Okay, so let's go to our really cool way that's gonna actually fade this brush off, and it's gonna make it look like it's a hair. So we're gonna go to Window and down to Brush, and here's where all of your cool brush options happen. So let's just show you how this looks like normally. Okay, this would be like a totally normal brush where you just paint like that, and it just looks like that, right? That's not gonna look like a hair, because when you have a hair, it's gonna start full and then it's gonna fade off into a tiny little point. So what we need to do is we need that to be built into this brush. So check it out. You can do that right here inside of your brush window. So let's click on the shape dynamics here. Now, here where it says your size jitter, okay, keep the jitter at 0. You don't need this to get larger or smaller, but here where it says control, we're gonna click on fade, okay? Now this is super cool because fade, it's gonna go, you can kind of see a preview there, it's gonna go from your largest diameter to 0. So if I click and drag here, you're gonna see it's gonna fade away. See how it gets smaller like that? It actually makes it look like a little hair. How neat is that? Now, the next thing you can do here, check this, is you can change this number. So if I've got this set to 50, this is the length that your little brush is gonna be, okay? So you can make it a little bit longer if you want to. This is set to 100, so it's gonna go 100, I guess this is 100 pixels, and then kind of fade away. You really just wanna like dial this in to about the eyebrow length on your image there, okay? So In this case, let's see, is that about right? 30? No, let's try 60. It just gets longer. The bigger number you do, the longer it's going to get. Okay, and there we go. I'm just making it a little bit, I'm lowering my flow a little bit because when I was painting it, it was a little bit too much. So there we go. Let's see about that, if that looks pretty good. So I'm at about 60 and we can see, isn't that really cool? It just kind of fades off. And now I can kind of, you know, paint in these individual hairs and they're going to look like eyebrow hairs, which is really, really cool. Now you want to be a little bit random when you do this, you know, not every hair is going in the same direction. Okay, we'll start up here. We'll do some of these as well. And again, all this is with just a regular mouse, which is pretty cool. If you guys watch Flirn a lot, you'll know that I use a pressure sensitive tablet like kind of all the time. So to see me use a mouse, what a treat. Now, you're gonna have some of this down here at the bottom where it's gonna look a little bit like, it's gonna look pretty gnarly down there, but that's not really a big deal. Just hit E for your eraser tool and just use a large soft edge eraser here and just kind of erase it away, just the edge. See, I'm using a large soft edge brush and you can just kind of like pop that and erase it away. So you get these really nice little hairs going on here. And you can kind of like fade it away just to make it look realistic because sometimes this stuff is not going to look super realistic. So what we've got is a really nice result here. And you can see we've got all of our little individual hairs there and we've got our filled in area. Now keep in mind, these are always on different layers. So you can like lower your fill or if you want more of it, you could duplicate that layer, for instance. That's too much, so we're not going to do it that way. But basically our effect's done. So that was with using the mouse, which is totally cool. I'm gonna use a pressure sensitive tablet for my version of it because I love these things. They just make everything easier in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that as well. So for this, let's go ahead and make the other eyebrow hair invisible, okay? We'll just zoom in. I'm gonna create a new layer. And then now we're gonna take our control here and set this to pen pressure. So this way, the harder or softer I press with my brush, the larger or smaller my little hair is gonna get. So you can see, I just have a lot.
Oh, see, double disarm. Enough with the Seraph tears. Ooh, chat, you know I got to do it, right? You know I gotta make this shit. Yeah, you know, chat. No. I got to try a little tenderness. Okay, let's see it. Let's see this. Ginsu, so that he can dash more. No, I think I'd rather have more on hit effects. The dashes are nice and all, but I'd rather make like a rapid fire cannon or whatever. Boom. Yeah, one shiv is like, you know, just subtly. Two shiv is like. Still no disarm. Yeah, I may have been debated by the disarm. Debated. Yeah, I throw it in a brand for a demon. They call me money bags toast because I always got money in my bags. I feel. Shojin, Seraph, Gunblade, Ludens. 0.6k damage in 2 seconds. Okay, that's pretty good. If only we could have made another shiv. So Rabadon's doesn't work, which begs the question of why do you have Rabadon Tristana? Now we need a third static shiv. Yep. Yep. I have sailed the world, beheld its wonders, from the Dardanelles to the mountain of Peru, but there's no place like London. Pike isn't doing anything. Pretty much, chat. No one on my team is doing anything except my OTK Tristana sending people to the Shadow Realm with every auto attack she does. Okay. This is Tristana and her backup singers. Okay.
We are at war. Do not forget it.
I don't even know what to make at this point. Make a silence, I guess. I don't know, make a Hextech Gunblade on someone. Okay, that's a pretty scary Draven. If he can kill my Gnar in time and get to my Tristana before she... Oh, there she goes. Oops, sorry. He had about a 0.5 second window of opportunity. He kind of missed it. He had a chance. I don't feel like I even need to upgrade my units right now. It's like, yeah, I could upgrade it, or I could just not. Do I really need to upgrade my unit? Okay, I mean, he's got a gunslinger with static shiv. Oh. Oh. Okay, look at his gunslinger go. Not bad. Gunslinger on gunslinger. What senseless violence this is. Ooh, a dragon claw. That's neat. That's his half. Oh, also a dragon claw. What are the odds? Does dragon claws block static shiv damage?
Toastal mouth.
That was actually a lot closer than I expected. I don't even know what I can find anymore. I could get a triple Draven, but it's like, is it really gonna make my life better? Level Carthus, 3 Vigars, I mean, I could buy it. It's just I mean, like, what's gonna change? Just gonna frontline my Tristana, you know, just really get up in their face and blast away here. Yeah, bye-bye. If you're gonna try and copy my gunslinger strat, you better not miss. Easy. E Z. Okay. Gunslinger or static shiv. We got a problem. We got a problem, chat. Thank you for the Twitch Prime. I know you're very impressed. I'm a pretty impressive person. Right, Janet? Okay, she has headphones on. She can't hear me. Hang on, it's the carousel. I need a tear. Oh my god, you let the guy get the... Oh no, this is bad. One guy got a bow, one guy got a tier. And they're both stream snipers. This guy's a stream sniper, this guy's a stream sniper too. They're gonna rush the static shift build and find 4 gunslingers. Not if I high roll a tier and a bow. Okay, never mind. There's another one.
BC?
Why?
Kung kanta-kanta, parang kang magkatay lang.
Those, now you have to counter it. Yeah, by doing it first. It's a problem.
Here comes the boom. The dark should fear me. On the prowl.
The minimal amount of boxes, 3. Alright? Okay. Okay.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Oh god, this dude can make a, he can make a static shiv already. Maybe he doesn't know about the static shiv build. His name is Poe. That's like a, that's a silly name, right?
Good night. No, open.
Okay, we need a sandbag for static shiv. That's the only way. It's the only way.
Today I've been writing, wondering about what makes me feel. I need to feel something. I need this to bring me back to life. I used to laugh, I used to dance. I'd like it back once again. Now I calculate even more these days. Save me now. And no, I know. When did I become so unsure lately? Say, did you ever know what you would be in the younger years? A few hundred times over and over, I tell myself I'll be okay. But now I'll find some closure singing no.
Hurt me enough to get second pick, but Oh god, this guy has illusion already. And 2 gunslingers on his board. Yeah, hurt me.
That's Cookie Monster. Where did Cookie Monster go?
Pog.
Oh man, this guy's super sandbagged. Yeah, he's gonna go straight for the
When
ball.
are you gonna go sleep?
This dude right here.
The Mark?
Huh?
You're gonna go sleep.
Oh, he's not. Well, that's a surprise.
When?
Well, if you're gonna, you guys
Tonight or
You
today?
guys are gonna leave up a static shiv. I'm not gonna say no. We have won the game. They will remember this day as the day they allowed me to have static shiv. Oh my lord, wait, this guy can make 2 static shivs. Wait, that's double the amount of static shivs I have. Wait, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Don't mind me, just building a static shiv. No need for alarm. Wait, what did it do 200 damage there? Oh, it was the bomb. And I get money. Money for my honey. I don't put him in spider. Those why the ships deal so much damage. It's dealing normal damage. This is what happens. So there's no bug. There's nothing wrong. This is working exactly as it should. It's just that gunslingers were broken for so long. Now that they finally fixed gunslingers, all the OP stuff is coming out of the woodworks. Wow, I actually lost. That's impressive. Yeah, you need 4 gunslingers for this to be uber good. Uber good. Anyone going gunslinger? Not this guy. This guy is Tony. Nice name. Who names a kid Tony? Oh, yep. Double static shift. Tristana in the corner.